Hello everyone, and welcome to this research presentation on media filtering as religious worldview, VidAngel, and the emergence of religious content moderation. Before we begin, I want to extend a quick thank you to the International Society for Media, Religion, and Culture for giving us the opportunity to include this recorded presentation of our research. This work was conducted by myself, Andrew Ventimiglia, and my co-author and co-researcher, Gavin. This research was also developed with the financial help of a fellowship from the Lived Religion in the Digital Age Initiative, so thank you as well to them. So to begin, I'd like to introduce you to the Harmon brothers, Daniel, Neil, and Jeffrey Harmon. They're creators of the VidAngel streaming service. The Harmon brothers were raised as devout Mormons in rural Idaho. And when they were growing up, the Harmon family followed the covenant to refrain from profanity and other language that might be considered degrading to their fellow brothers and sisters. After all, the scriptures taught that words can have powerful effects. This religious attention to harmful language carried over to the family's media consumption practices. When the blockbuster film Titanic was released in 1997, the Harmons watched it filtered through a TV Guardian, pictured here, hardware that, when linked to a TV set, would automatically mute swearing and other objectionable language. It was toggled to the closed captioning script in order to locate certain words. In this way, the Harmons were able to participate in popular culture by watching the film while still maintaining their guiding faith commitments. This experience led the brothers to pursue a unique career in media. After an early career working in video marketing, Neil Harmon launched a startup company, VidAngel, in 2014, which provided an innovative service to media consumers. For a small subscription fee, users could access the company's patented content filtering system and create their own personalized viewing experience. The VidAngel system uniquely targeted and eliminated nudity, profanity, language, and violence from content on streaming services. VidAngel followed TV Guardian, as mentioned before, and other technologies like the ClearPlay DVD player as a developing field of consumer discretion technologies, as they've been labeled by media scholar Rayford Gwynns in his book Edited Clean Version. Mormons have played a transformational role in this video filtering industry, which has a history going all the way back to the 1960s. Long before consumer TV filters hit markets, Latter-day Saints were editing popular films for conservative audiences in northern Utah. The Varsity Theater at the LDS Church-owned Brigham Young University screened sanitized versions of Hollywood hits, again dating all the way back to the 1960s. As the theater's committee chair said in 1978, "We edit the movies so they don't teach immorality." Mormon video rental stores continued this tradition in the 1980s and 90s. For instance, the video rental store Sunrise Video, located in Utah County, Utah, where over 80% of the population belongs to the LDS Church, began editing consumer VHS copies, most notably with the film Titanic again, and its notorious sex scene. These kinds of services were a simple response to a market demand, ensuring that religious consumers could watch Hollywood films that might be worth watching, even as they were perceived to be out of touch with the morals and values of the Mormon audience. VidAngel continued in this tradition, but replaced the crude manual editing of film and VHS copies with new technological systems that promised increasingly granular control over content. The company's main contribution was the development of a patented method and system for seamless streaming and filtering, is what it was called. Filter options ranged from partially or completely muting the volume for obscene language to strategically cropping out gory violence from a movie frame. In other words, it didn't treat the whole frame at once. It could actually break it down into certain quadrants. And this was a method that was considered less disruptive than, say, fully excising entire segments of the film. As you can see here, VidAngel's customizable filtering menu divided traditional categories of morally problematic content into a highly refined and customizable interface. For instance, instead of simply filtering all sexual content, customers could choose to remove certain categories. For instance, homosexual kissing versus non-homosexual kissing, or passionate homosexual kissing versus passionate non-homosexual kissing. While these technologies were broadly aimed at parents that were interested in asserting control over their and their family's media consumption practices, as Neil Harmon describes here in a Christian parenting podcast in 2020, They also, of course, fit within this longer history of Mormon viewing practices and filtering practices, and were often specifically targeting audiences with religious convictions. For instance, like VidAngel's technological predecessors, TV Guardian and ClearPlay, users could eliminate both traditional vulgarities and language broadly categorized as blasphemy, right? So not just profanity, but also blasphemous content. As a confirmation that VidAngel's primary audience was made up of conservative Christians, the most filtered word was Christ, which even beat out the word fuck. The development of VidAngel and this history of content filtering points to an important and underexplored topic related to religion and digital media. That's religious content moderation. As digital entertainment exponentially increases, religious audiences find themselves in need of means to navigate such content guided by moral, ethical, and spiritual commitments rather than popular trends and market-driven systems. Emerging content moderation platforms like VidAngel posit that spiritual consumers need not reject secular entertainment, but rather filter it in order to produce content suitable for a religious audience. These digital innovators thus frame secular media and culture as containing compelling spiritual perspectives and family-friendly values for those with eyes to see. This reconfiguration of the traditional divide between religious and secular media content has powerful implications for lived religion in the United States. Rather than creating siloed religious media worlds, for instance, like evangelical media, the Christian contemporary music scene, for instance, religious content moderation offers an opportunity for spiritual consumers to engage in popular media without compromising central values. In this respect, we might consider media consumption as itself a form of spiritual practice, and the performance of media literacy in popular culture, a willingness and ability to share the same references and cultural touchstones as their secular peers, is actually an important prerogative for contemporary spiritual consumers. While VidAngel and related companies like ClearPlay and TV Guardian found success satisfying a unique market need, these companies' religiously motivated filtering technologies also faced unique challenges. So Gavin and I explored these legal challenges in an article for the journal Internet Histories, which some of you may be interested in reading, as presented here. In this article, we focused on some of the tensions between religious content moderation and copyright law. In fact, VidAngel was found by a California court to have created a business model in violation of copyright because the filtering process created infringing derivative versions of major Hollywood films. The question of the legality of VidAngel's service raises compelling issues regarding the relationship between religious practice, particularly efforts to mitigate the negative effects of consumer mass media, and entertainment, as regulated by secular law, like copyright, all oriented toward the protection of corporate property and profit. It raises a lot of interesting questions that we just tackle in part here. For instance, should there be a legally recognized religious right to filter? How should the law balance the rights of families to control their media consumption with the proprietarian rights of major film companies? And is VidAngel providing a valuable service, or is it really at heart an unlawful pirate of protected content? While we continue to explore the implications of this research for religious studies and media studies scholarship, we're also working on a documentary about VidAngel. So by way of conclusion, I'll show a trailer here, which includes interviews with key figures in the world of religious content moderation, including the VidAngel founders, Neil Harmon and Jordan Harmon. So enjoy this short clip, and thank you for your attention.
In 2019, the video streaming company VidAngel was fined over $60 million for copyright violations. A group of Hollywood directors and studios had sued the startup for removing language, sex, and violence from their films and then streaming them without permission. If this sounds familiar, it's because a very similar series of events took place about 20 years ago. A group of ambitious young Latter-day Saints attempt to make a business out of editing Hollywood films, and bam, they're shut down by copyright law and sent packing. But VidAngel's story doesn't end there. VidAngel has somehow not only survived the legal ruling, the company is now thriving. After emerging from bankruptcy, VidAngel announced a shocking $47 million in revenue for 2020. In this video, we'll dive deep into VidAngel's history, using historical research, legal analysis, and academic interviews. We'll tell the story of the rise and fall of a video editing industry and the winners and losers that emerged from the rubble. a story that reveals the complex connections between religion, technology, copyright law, and American culture.